Hi, I'm Peter Vazquez.
Dan Balter, Fireseed Arts.
And tell me a little about this great fish.
Well, this evolved out of our Artist in Residence program, which we have at a transfer station, which is a recycling center in Wayland, Massachusetts. And we bring artists out to experiment and work with and create something out of recycled materials, discarded materials. And this was a result of bringing an artist named Juan Flores. Actually, we flew him in from Wisconsin, which is unusual for us. We usually try to do local. This artist has such a great sense of scale and is really talented with multiple mediums. And he knew about large-scale installation, so we thought this would be a great fit. And he came. We talked about materials. We found all these discarded CDs from a local company that prints CDs, and these are all misfires or misprints, and they have to throw them away. So we got about 6,000 CDs, and we made a choice between a dragon or a fish. We settled on the fish, and it just started with some chalk lines on the pavement, bending metal like old conduit, old brass bed frame, metal shelving units, all these bits of metal that were just coming in to the recycling center, we were utilizing and bending it into a frame, and then skinning it. It took weeks to skin this with the CDs.
That was one of the limitations we put on ourselves over a period of weeks, using just the materials that are available. What can you build? So as Peter was saying, the CDs told us it was going to be a fish, and then as other materials came in, it took the shape of the fish, formed, and up until the last moment, a week before the debut here at Greenfest, didn't have a sheathing for the face. The word was, though, it will happen, it will come, and right beforehand some metal step flashing came, and the back sides of lithograph plates from a printer. Made a perfect aluminum shiny face, works perfect with the CDs, and we're off and running, had the completed fish.
And so, what happens to the fish after Greenfest? Where is it going?
Well, it's going to be stored at Isaac's Moving, and then take it to other festivals, schools. It's a great learning experience. I know that children come by and they're just fascinated by the look and they want to know more about it. It's a great teaching availability about the environment.
This fish can swim deep. You want to go into some depth with the materials?
Yeah, tell me.
All right, so let's start over here at the mouth.
Okay.
So the mouth is a former trash can, and it just happened to be just the right shape for a mouth, but it also speaks volumes about what we're putting into our rivers is ending up in the mouths of our fish, and eventually comes back to us. So I thought that was very telling. The drums for eyes. Drums are one of the ways that we can most connect to our primal self. It's the first instrument. It harkens back to a time when there was no dichotomy between ourselves and nature. So I think music still has the way, the pulse, and can lead us back into ourselves, back into our fusion with nature, back into our integration with nature. It's primal vision. Let's come around here. The fins are made from recycled shopping bags. So the fins and the tail are the guiding mechanisms of the fish, right? And we've been guided by consumerism. So we thought it was very telling also that this has been our guidance program, and it's hopefully we can change that direction, transform that direction. The CDs, which was an archival medium, a way to store data and music, came and went in our lifetime, in less than 20 years, and this stuff doesn't biodegrade. But when you look, it makes a great material when you look for a fish. So when you step back, you see scales, right? When you come in closely, you see yourself reflected in every scale, every cell of this fish. We're all one. We're all connected. What happens to the fish happens to us. So you see a sense of responsibility in there. I was thinking about the dorsal fin too, which is, these are gardening posts. And maybe the dorsal fin is a stabilizing element on the fish, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe that's what's going to stabilize our existence and our sustainability on this planet, is getting back to the garden, making everything into a garden. Look at all these beautiful rooftops here in the city. They could all be gardens. Every front lawn, instead of growing grass, why can't we be growing some food? So there's just these little messages in the material. Every material has its story, just as material, but I think it also has a deeper metaphor as well. And I thought it was very telling the way the materials found their place on the fish, and they had their own stories to tell.